Fala pessoal, Rato aqui. Se você ainda não me conhece, tá até estranhando a minha cara, eu participo das lives com o Bruno nas quartas-feiras e também nas lives com o Pop Sombrio. E dessa vez ele me deu a missão aí de estar fazendo uma entrevista super especial com o Nils Molin do Dynazty, banda aí que vai fazer sua primeira vinda para o Brasil esse ano, em maio, no dia 3 no Bangers Open Air. E conversamos sobre diversas coisas, desde o lançamento do próximo álbum deles, o Game of Faces, com data para o dia 14 de fevereiro, seguido da tour, né, pela Europa e com a vinda para o Brasil, a expectativa sobre essa vinda e muitas outras coisas. Então, já se inscreve no canal, deixa o seu like, assiste até o fim e depois conta pra gente aí nos comentários o que você achou dessa entrevista. Valeu! So, once again, it's very pleasant to talk to you today, Niels. And I was seeing that you guys are already starting the year pretty packed, right? First off, with the debut of the new album on February this month, on the 14th, right? Um, and also with uh, a tour, upcoming tour on Europe, and then the first time on Dynasty here on Latin America and specifically in Brazil. So, how are you guys with all of these happening right now? Like, how guys are dealing with all of that?
Um, well, it's the usual thing before a busy period like this. There's a lot of preparation um, for this European tour that we're kicking off in about 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, something like that. We're constructing a brand new set list with a lot of new songs, a lot of new material, and a lot of new elements that we haven't done before. So there's a lot of preparation, and I'm doing a lot of interviews like this one here for the album. So there's a lot going on, but it's exciting times in general to release this album and to go out on tour in support of it and to make it to Brazil for the first time in May.
Yeah, for sure. And do you have like kind of a routine or a special I don't know, something before the beginning of tours?
It depends a little. Sometimes when I'm in between tours, when I'm touring a lot, I just try to rest as much as possible before the next one. Um, but the routine is generally quite simple. I just try to take care of myself physically and getting some good sleep and everything, and make sure that I'm all set to go out on tour and work hard.
For sure, for sure. And you mentioned it about the preparation for the set list. And so I only can imagine that we are talking about maybe some additions of your next album, Game of Faces. And what can you tell us a little bit about this upcoming new album?
Uh, well, I think this album has a bit of a different tone than our predecessor or than its predecessor, Final Advent. It was written during a completely different time. Um, so it's a continuation of the Dynasty story, maybe not the most obvious one, um, but still very much a reflection of what we have been doing for the past couple of years, which is we've been out touring a lot. Um, we played lots of summer festivals and we've done lots of tours, and I think that you can hear this on the album.
For sure. And another thing that really got my attention, specifically even on the Spotify thumbnail, it was kind of a little bit explanation about the things that you guys talk about on the album, and sounded like very emotional and introspective and more, even like existential types of content. I had the opportunity to listen to the album, and it is super cool. Really, really congratulations. There are a lot of bangers on it, a lot of really nice songs. And one thing that really caught my attention is like, even though you guys talk about those more deep stuff, from beginning to end, you still maintain like that upbeat kind of, energy that Dynasty always brings on. And I was to ask you, like, it is a kind of a challenge, or how it is to maybe balance those two things, like creating a music that is really energetic, upbeat, and at the same time dealing with more personal, or even like more introspective and existential types of content.
Right. It's a very interesting question, and this is definitely a balance that when I write lyrics, I try to maintain a balance between it has to be entertaining, it has to really make the song flow, but at the same time, I would like to say something that has a little bit more meaning than the stereotypical superficiality um, of lyrics in general. So I just try to write something that I find interesting myself without compromising the integrity of the song. So the song always comes first, but you still try to find lyrics that go beyond the surface level of lyric writing. That's my that's the principle I try to uphold, at least.
Oh, that's interesting. And for you, at least, would you say that having like a more energetic type of song, it makes a little bit easier to touch this kind of content, more existential, more meaningful type of content?
I think so. I mean, I think that rock music and metal music in general comes from a really powerful place. Um, Whenever you're playing this type of music, it is a very physical thing. It takes a lot of energy and it takes a lot of heart and soul, I would say. And for me, singing these songs, it's like you're already like pouring your all your internal stuff into the microphone. So I think it definitely lends itself to actually saying some powerful words, or at least trying to say some powerful words. And a lot of my favorite artists or a lot of my favorite bands have had lyrics that are somewhere going at least a little bit, or trying to go a little bit deeper than, for example, in the pop genre. Um, and it doesn't even have to be like very, very, like you said, introspective, deep, or existential lyrics. I mean, one of my all-time favorite lyricists is Rob Halford from Judas Priest. And not those songs are not always about really existential, deep, or introspective things. They can be a song about a random metal monster coming to get you or something. But the way that he writes it makes it just flow like the best type of poetry you've ever heard, which is remarkable in my opinion. So it depends on how you're writing it as well. But I definitely think that the genre itself lends itself to some really powerful lyrical stuff.
100%. Like, you can do very beautiful things around simplicity as well, right?
Sure, sure.
That's awesome. And still talking a little bit about the album and the upcoming tours. Is there like, um how was, better saying, how was the process on choosing maybe a few of those songs to be part of the set? Like, since the beginning, you guys were like, oh, this one would be an awesome one to be on a live set. Like, how was like this process of picking for you guys?
Well, it's actually that process is never entirely easy. Um, you never really know with songs until you've tried them on stage. They can be fantastic on the album, they can sound amazing, but somehow they might not always translate the same way to a big stage, in a big venue with a boomy sound and everything. Usually the more simplistic beats are the ones that function best in that kind of environment. And then on the album you might have songs that are not exactly in that vein. So it's always going to be a bit of a guessing game the first time you try out new songs, which will work, which won't work as well as others. So it's definitely a difficult process, but we have just gone with our gut instinct regarding things, and we're gonna play a lot of new material from the Game of Faces album on this upcoming tour, and we're gonna continue to play a lot of new material when we come to Brazil, and in the summer when we're playing festivals. So yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun playing these new songs.
Yeah, I only can imagine. And like on this, even on this, maybe I would say trial and error at first, when you guys are like understanding how it connects and how it flows on a live set. Uh, that's like one of the things that adds up a little bit on the butterflies on the stomach for the first shows to see if it will like connect, if it will flow.
Right. I mean, we actually already in December we played 3 shows in Germany, and we tried out 3 new songs off the album,
Oh,
and
nice.
2 of them had already been released as singles, but one of them was unreleased, and we actually opened the show with an unreleased song that nobody had ever heard. And this was a little bit of an attempt to check on these songs, see how they would work within a set, but also a little bit to freshen things up for ourselves, because we've been playing more or less the same kind of set list now for 2 or 3 years live since our previous album. So it was also a way for us to wake up a little bit and keep ourselves sharpened. Because, like you said, there's definitely an extra element of butterfly activity in the stomach when you're playing songs that you've never played live before.
Yeah, and how that was? Like how was the crowd reaction? Because like thinking about the crowd standpoint of view, like usually you think about a band that you like opening with like that banger one that you already know, just to like start the things rolling off. Like that's really interesting, really interesting.
Yeah. Uh, so it's just one of those ideas that are so out there that we felt we had to try it. I think the experiment worked. I mean, it was for sure one of those songs that would always work live. So we were not completely guessing. We were pretty sure that this song will be a good song to play live. Um, and for many of our hardcore fans who were there, they were expecting, a song that they already know, or one of the songs that we have opened our set list with for the past couple of years, but instead we gave them something completely different. And I think that there was an enthusiastic reaction to this unusual um, way of doing things.
Nice, nice. Okay, I write that down. Like when it comes to Dynasty, expect the unexpected. Oh, all right. And speaking of which, we are super excited also to have you guys here in Brazil for the first time, uh, making your debut on one of our biggest festivals. And I know that if I'm and correct me if I'm not mistaken, but you yourself already have been here in Brazil once, a couple of years with Amaranthe. But how is like the overall excitement and maybe like just this idea of how it will be to come here. Like, do you guys have maybe uh a kind of connection already with maybe a Brazilian fan base, or that about Brazil comes down to what maybe friends or other bands talks about? Like, how is like this overall idea of how it will be playing here?
Right. In general, I think that we have very high expectations coming to Brazil. Um, it's been a long time coming. We've had fans in Brazil for so many years, who've always wanted us to come and play, and now the opportunity is absolutely right. And like you said, it's going to be a fantastic festival. I've heard a lot of great things about this place. Um, there's a amazing lineup of bands, and so we're very excited to be part of this and to finally do it. Um, in general, I try to not have too high expectations of going to certain places because you never really know what happens. You might be extremely tired. You might be extremely jet lagged when you get there. Um, and you never know if you're going to have time to actually see as much as you would like to, for example. Um, but for sure, we have great expectations coming. And most of all, we are very happy to finally play in front of Brazilian fans for the very first time. This is the main thing, obviously.
Awesome. Looking forward to that. And I hope I don't add a little bit more of expectations on that, but at least the about the how will you say it, like the stage that you guys will be playing at, for me at least, is like the best of the stages there on the festival because of its location. There is like some palm trees around it. I think like it's like kind of on a, I'm not sure how to say it, but it's not like it's kind of sidelines, the structure, like it is like on, and it's a super good position, uh especially I think that because of the schedule, you guys will not be able to see fully, but it's like a super cool place where when the sun starts to setting, you have like this great view. So like the overall like space that you guys will be playing at, for me at least, is like one of the best on the venue. So yeah, looking really forward to it.
Oh, so it sounds amazing. It
Yeah,
really
it is.
does.
It
Yeah.
is. It is. It is. It is.
Okay. Well,
Like
now we're looking
it's
forward to it even more.
oh nice. Like I said, I wasn't trying to set the expectation a little bit higher. So yeah, don't
but but you just did.
don't put my name on it. But you mentioned about like the pretty packed, of course, schedule. Uh, you guys will be playing afterwards. You already will be flying off, or you have like at least a little bit days off, maybe to getting to know the city and the culture, or nah, not that time, not this time.
We actually have a little time, I think. Once we've done our duties, I think we have a little time. I don't
Oh,
know
okay.
exactly how long, but might be at least a day or something like that. So there's actually some opportunity to see some more, which is great.
Oh, nice, nice. Yeah. I mean, I hope you guys can. I'm not sure if it will be like after, because you guys are playing on the third day, right? So not sure if it will be after, then you guys can like pretty much go anywhere, or if it will be like the day before. I would imagine you guys like not being able, having some restrictions like on where you can go. But yeah, I mean, hopefully you guys can enjoy a little bit of our culture, and
I hope so too. Really.
yeah. culture wise, there is something that you keep hearing that you need to maybe taste or experiment or something like it here from Brazil?
Um, well, I don't think I properly tried Brazilian food, for example. I like I said, I was there years ago, but it was so briefly, and we didn't have a
Yeah.
lot of time for anything. So that's one aspect I would like to see a little bit more of the city, like you said, um, and things like this. If there's time, I really hope to be able to experience a little, at least.
Yeah, let's hope for it. Let's hope for it. And still regarding the upcoming show here in Brazil, and for those that are unfamiliar with Dynasty, and even those that maybe are but never had the opportunity to see you guys either like I don't know, like in other countries or even like on the internet, which is kind of difficult to think of, but hey, you never know. What would you say that the fans or the general crowd can expect of the Dynasty experience, or what would be a kind of a Dynasty experience show be like?
A dinosaur show would be like an enormous onslaught of melodic heavy metal. Um, very well performed by a band who gives 120% on stage, and who really also tries to have the audience interact and sing and clap and work together with the band on stage to all have a great time together when we are there. That's what we always try to do.
Wow, that looks like fun, right?
Yeah,
Sounds like fun. Sounds like fun.
I think so. It usually is.
Oh, nice, nice, man. And now, um, talking about a little bit about yourself, um, like you're not only in one, not only in two, but in three bands simultaneously. Like, how that dynamics works, like what are the challenges? Because I mean, I'm not like I'm just a regular folk, and I have like a really hard time on tightening my schedule up, like I can only imagine that having like this multitude of tasks and things, like how does that function with you?
Well, first, you mentioned three bands. Well, one is just an album project. Uh, so I think you're referring to the New Horizon album that I did last year.
Yes,
Um,
exactly.
but it's not a touring band, and it was a one-off, one album. So it doesn't continuously take up my time. So I have two
Okay.
bands that I tour with and record with, and for sure there's a lot of responsibilities and a lot of things to do, and I guess I have pretty limited free time, uh, and I spend a lot of time out on the road and touring all over the world. And sometimes it tires me out a little bit, but whenever I have the opportunity to probably rest, I try to do that as much as I possibly can. Um, and I've done this now for quite some years, so I'm very used to it at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I know that I misphrased it, but I mean, come on. So basically, when you are like having a time for yourself, you are still creating other projects. So that's like really cool. I mean, I think like it speaks for itself how passionate you are about music in general, and like your overall involvement with it. And I really admire it. But it feels like also like a big challenge sometimes.
For sure. And I'm happy to hear that this is the way that you see it, because it is also true. I work really hard because I have a lot of passion for what I'm doing. That's for sure. Um, and I wouldn't be doing it if I didn't want to. So I work hard because I feel that I have a lot to give, and I want to do as much as I possibly can, and I don't like to stay still that much, and I like to stay creative and keep working hard. So it's good that you notice, interpret it in the correct way, according to me.
Nice, nice. I'm happy hearing it. And but still, when it comes like maybe a day that you're not feel like it, or you're not feel like it's like, okay, I need to rest. Like, what do you, what would be like maybe some hobbies or other stuff that you like to do on your day-to-day life that's not like related to music, to get some steam off?
Right. Well, I do that generally. I try to always maintain the hobbies that I have outside of playing music. I watch a hell of a lot of football, which has always been, I love the sport ever since I was a kid. So I watch football whenever I have the chance to. I catch up on the latest films, on the latest TV series, documentaries, and stuff like this. Um, I don't have a lot of time for it anymore, but I have played some video games over the years, quite a lot of video games over the years. And these are just examples of me, like you said, letting off steam and just unplugging my brain. And but definitely on like a weekly basis, I try to watch as many football games as I possibly can, European football, international football. So that's one of those things that always, um, in a good way, unplugs my brain.
Oh, cool. And I know that for sure, for our viewers, potentially would be like maybe a deal breaker here, but what would be the team of your choice when it comes to football?
The team of my choice.
Yeah, yeah.
The funny thing is, I don't have a one team that I support. I obviously, when it comes to the World Cup or the Euros, I always support Sweden, obviously, as a national team. That goes without saying. But other than that, I don't have a specific team that I always follow and that I'm a patriot of this team. I more just watch all the big games. Sometimes I follow a specific team because I love the way they're playing, or a couple of players that I feel are so great that I want to see all the games that they are playing in, and stuff like this. Um, I don't know if you're a football fan.
To be honest with you, I'm not, but I do know like all the people around me and all the people that I work with are. So yeah, that's not something that I can like escape from it, but a little bit of knowledge maybe I have. I don't know.
So I think it's news the last couple of days that Neymar,
Yeah,
Brazilian player, he's back in Brazil
is
now.
back.
Yes. Uh, so I'm just letting you know that I'm very updated when it
Nice.
comes to football. Neymar is, speaking of football, a absolutely fantastic player. Um, and I've always loved watching him play for Brazil primarily. But I've also watched a lot of his games when he was in Barcelona and in Paris. So yeah, just flexing my football skills a little bit here for the
Oh,
Brazilian
nice.
people.
That's awesome, man. I don't know, like, if I'm not mistaken, like even like Henrik from Avatar, he's also a really big football fan, soccer fan, football fan, and he even have like a team of choice here in Brazil. So maybe one day we can all arrange like a team, like a soccer game between um musicians that really enjoys the sport.
Yeah, it's like it's what Steve Harris in Iron Maiden does. Whenever he's out on
Yeah,
tour, he gets teams together and play football games. Yeah,
exactly,
that will
exactly.
be a lot of fun.
Oh man, that would be awesome. Niels, final question to you, and that's a question that we usually do to our interviewers here on the channel. What are you currently listening to? Like when it comes, to when you have some time and you like with your own personal Spotify playlist. What are your currently favorite songs be like? When it comes even like not like genres, but maybe like even some artists. What you're currently listening to?
Right, that's a good question. I think that my latest favorite album, um, two albums actually from 2024. Um, one was Invincible Shield, the Judas Priest album, the latest Judas Priest album, which I loved. Um, and the one I probably listened to the most last year and still listening to it was the latest Myrath album,
All
which I thought
right.
was fantastic. And now, this week, one of my all time favorite bands are releasing a brand new album, Dream Theater.
Okay.
The first one with Mike Portnoy back in the band, first time since 2009, and Black Clouds and Silver Linings. So I'm really looking forward to on Friday to listen to the full Parasomnia album by Dream Theater. And I've actually ordered the physical copy, so I'm expecting it to arrive at my home any day now. And I'm really looking forward to this, to sit down with it and enjoy one of my all-time favorite bands getting back together and releasing um, this album.
Oh man, super nice to hear it. I mean, I only hope that doesn't have like any shipping problems and you can have it on your hands before you kick off the tour. But yeah,
Yeah, I definitely hope that. I'm expecting it.
for sure. Every one of us will be listening to that. But hey, afterwards, like I said before, we all need to check it out. Game of Faces on February the 14th, right?
For sure. For sure.
All right, Niels, it was a super pleasure talk to you today. I hope you guys have an awesome tour, and hey, see you soon, very soon here in Brazil on May.
All right. Looking forward to it.